If I'm working the case, I would have a team of guys trying to trace down the jacket, the backpack, certainly one that's got the little reflectors on the shoulder straps. It's not always the thing that you see in front of you. It's what you don't see that can lead to the rapid conclusion of a case like this.
Everybody's examining these images. We're going to do the same thing right now. They're going to bring in Josh Ritter, who's out there in Tucson, Arizona. All right, so here we go now. This is what's distinguishable. The backpack, the strap with this reflection that's shining back toward the door. Some people believe they see the top of a cell phone here. Maybe, perhaps, I guess you could say, this is the gun in a holster. It's really not clear from that image, but if you look at some of the other images, it looks pretty obvious to me that there's a gun or a handgun in that holster there. Why it's being carried that way, it's hard to say. This has been the subject of a lot of debate with the images of the eyes. Maybe that's a flashlight in his mouth. Maybe that's a reflection from the camera itself. If you have one of these cameras, you know that if it's looking through a window at nighttime, it reflects the room back to you as opposed to looking out toward the yard or toward another area. Another shot of his eyes. You can see the facial hair here. Many describe that as a mustache at least. Take a look at this backpack. Is that camo? What sort of design is that? Looks pretty distinguishable to me, somewhat unique, I would argue, from an investigative standpoint. Then these are the broken flowers that we saw on the porch. This was taken by Fox Digital. On day 3 of this, they had access to go all the way up to the front of that house and get the blood trail that led to this mat, and you assume the door camera was right here that he was looking into, and the flowers just below that. Josh Ritter with me now, former LA County Deputy DA, Fox News contributor to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Where are we now, Josh, before I queue up another thing for you? Go.
The latest is that there was that detention of a person of interest last night. We know that that person was soon after release. We haven't heard any further updates. We know that they have been receiving what are described as a flood of tips and calls since the release of that video that you just walked us through. So we're hopeful. And listen, I should say too that we may hear more reports of people being detained, of people being stopped, of people being questioned, and then later released. That's to be expected with the amount of information that they're getting in. We went through a period of complete what seemed like silence. It seemed like this investigation was dead in the water, and now they're getting all this new information, so they're going to start really ramping up and following down as many of those leads as possible.
Yeah, it's like a stick shift in a car, right? A 5-speed. You know, sometimes you go on 1 speed and you can shift into another gear, which is what we did yesterday afternoon. Here's Dan Bongino last night here about that.
The FBI has a divert team, a digital video enhancement team. They're probably, I would guess, I know if I was working the case right now, and I'm sure Cash is right now, I'm sure they're working on this to pick apart everything. I would guess from looking at him in context of probably the archway, he's probably 5'9" to 5'11" or so they can get height. There's also features of the face that, although obscured by the ski mask, you can still use some of the tools to get something useful out of it. And another thing is this an insider or a local?
It seems like that's a great question at the end. Is it an insider, or is it a local, or is it both? And why would the FBI not provide a timestamp when the sheriff 10 days earlier laid out a minute-by-minute forecast that he told us? What about all that, Josh?
Hopefully they'll have more specifics on that timeline, moving forward. And you're right, those details are important. But I love what you did breaking down the video and all of the information that we can gain out of this video. There's really a wealth of information here. First of all, we talked about just general things like description, height, weight, build, the way he carries himself. Bear in mind, too, they may have been working off of a list of possible suspects, of kind of usual suspects, people that were on their radar that might be good for this type of a crime. Well, with that information, they can start ticking those people off. Maybe they don't match that description at all, and that's clearing suspects is just as important as trying to locate new suspects. And then you've got the backpack, the face mask, the windbreaker that he's wearing, the footwear that he's got. All of that is valuable information. And now you've sent it out to the public and it's being crowdsourced. I've been monitoring social media online, And it's incredible what people are already doing with this small amount of information. They're cleaning up the video, they're zeroing in on the clothing that he's wearing, identifying them themselves. I hope that FBI agents are following up on some of this stuff that is being put out online. But I think we are going to see a real flood of information, and hopefully with all of the agents and resources that they have out here, they'll be able to get through and source through all of that and find something valuable.
That's a great answer. It gives some value, too, to the interview they conducted last night after they detained a person several miles south of Tucson, Arizona. He worked as a DoorDash food delivery guy, and he could very well have been at that house at some point over the past week or so. Josh, thank you very much. Back to you in Arizona shortly. Thanks.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.